All of my regular viewers, stay tuned through the end of this video. I received several DMs and emails yesterday asking me about the Dylan Mulvaney video, more specifically asking me about the pronouns. I saw some of your comments as well. Even though the video is performing extremely well, the like to dislike ratio is over 99%, I received enough questions about it yesterday, I figured I would go ahead and address it. So I will get into that later in the video. First things first. Let's get into the disaster, which was formerly known as CNN. CNN. Poor CNN, poor Chris Lick. He tried to make waves this week. He tried to make CNN the topic of conversation, but his dump has been completely overshadowed by the disaster unfolding at Fox News. When Rupert Murdoch decided to cut ties with Tucker Carlson, we all knew their primetime ratings would take a hit, but even I didn't know they were going to be on the receiving end of a knockout punch. These ratings are absolutely embarrassing. Now, they are not huge embarrassing failure status, but they are embarrassing nonetheless. But this thing with Fox News, this is deeper than crashing ratings. This week, viewers of Fox News sent them a message. Whether or not the message is received remains to be seen. Over the last 30 or so years, if there is one thing Fox News has been able to prove, they have proven they are resilient. Chris Cuomo was the biggest star at CNN. He gets fired, their primetime ratings have never recovered. Rachel Maddow is the biggest star at MSNBC. She dramatically scales back her schedule, decides she only wants to work one night a week. MSNBC's primetime ratings have never recovered. On other cable news networks, there have been stars that become bigger than the network. There have been cases where the network needs the star more than the star needs the network. But that has never been the case at Fox News. No one has ever been bigger than the brand. When Glenn Beck was at Fox News, he was on fire. They put him on at 5 in the afternoon. He was drawing primetime level ratings. If I remember correctly, Glenn Beck became so popular at one point, he was named Times Person of the Year. He either won the award or he was nominated for it. I can't remember, but either way, outside of Bill O'Reilly, Glenn Beck was the biggest star at Fox News. He ends up leaving to start The Blaze. He was tired of dealing with the constraints of corporate media. He was tired of dealing with boycotts from advertisers. Roger Ailes, he replaces Glenn Beck with The Five, a rotating panel of mid-level stars in cable news. Almost immediately, they were able to match Glenn Beck's ratings. Today, The Five, #1 show in cable news and one of the most watched shows on cable TV. For 20 years, Bill O'Reilly was the king of cable news. No one could touch Bill O'Reilly. For 60 consecutive quarters, Bill O'Reilly was #1, and it wasn't even close. He was easily averaging over 3 million viewers every night, put up strong numbers in the key 25 to 54 demo. Spring of 2017, allegations of sexual harassment start to surface. Bill O'Reilly announces a 2-week vacation. He never returns. He was fired. The network eventually replaces him with Tucker Carlson. Now, initially, Tucker Carlson was drawing respectable ratings, but they weren't close to matching Bill O'Reilly. Within a couple of years, Tucker, easily beating Bill O'Reilly's ratings, was the biggest star in cable news. It did not matter who left the network. Fox News has proven time and time again they have the ability to create new stars. They never skip a beat. But this situation with Tucker Carlson is completely different. Glenn Beck, he left to start his own media company. Viewers couldn't blame Fox News for that. They could justify the firing of Bill O'Reilly. These allegations surfaced during the height of the Me Too movement. It has been nearly a week, and I have yet to see one justifiable reason for the firing of Tucker Carlson. More importantly, the perception of what the reason might be, the perception is driving the reality. Fox News is being accused of assuming the position, warming up the buns, and spreading for the Frank. Make sure you put plenty of mayonnaise on that steamy grilled wiener. Make sure it's Oscar Mayer, the brand preferred by grade A shitfucks. Now, whether or not this is true is completely irrelevant. It does not matter. The mere perception that it could be true that Fox News could be going woke, The perception is all that matters. A couple of months from now, something could be leaked that completely justifies the firing of Tucker Carlson, but by then, it's going to be too late. Once viewing habits have changed, once viewers abandon your network, it is incredibly difficult to get them back. And so far, viewers are choosing to leave Fox News by the millions. Fox News started the week by replacing Tucker Carlson with Brian Kilmeade. Look, Brian Kilmeade's okay. I have nothing against the guy, but he never stood a chance. He was the sacrificial lamb. Fox set him up for failure. It didn't matter who they put in that time slot to replace Tucker Carlson. They could have had Joe Rogan replace Tucker Carlson for the week. He would not have beaten Tucker's ratings. Like I said, Fox News viewers, they were sending the network a message. This week, Brian Kilmeade averaged 1.8 million viewers, well over a million less than Tucker Carlson. And those ratings were propped up by Monday night's show, which I would imagine most people tuned in out of curiosity to see if there would be any explanation for the firing of Tucker Carlson. Of course, nothing was mentioned. When Fox fired Bill O'Reilly, they had Dana Perino read some corporate statement explaining their reason for firing him. This past Monday night, it was business as usual. Good evening. Welcome to Fox News Tonight. We have an exciting show for you. We have an update on the gender status of Leah Thomas. Well, who fucking cares? What happened to Tucker? I am sorry. I don't recognize that name. I am Brian Kilmeade, your sacrificial lamb. If you remove the ratings from Monday night, Brian Kilmeade averaged 1.5 million viewers, a decline of over 50%. Now, to make matters worse, they were beaten by both MSNBC and CNN in the key 25 to 54 demo. Beaten? Beaten by CNN? Beaten by CNN. I can somewhat understand being beaten by MSNBC. I mean, there is a segment of the population who is fascinated by the magically changing wigs of Joy Reid, but CNN? The confused news network? The network who thinks men can get pregnant and women look sexy with beards? The network with the most boring primetime lineup in cable news? The crown jewel of cable news was beaten by Andy Cooper and Katie Rue Collins? This perception that Fox News is being pleasured by the woke cucumber, it is being driven by conservative media. Now, I don't want to say they're taking advantage. I don't want to say that they are exploiting the situation, but they are damn sure driving the narrative for their own benefit. I'm not knocking them for it. It's smart business. I'm just telling you what they're doing. Newsmax has been the biggest beneficiary in the possible demise of Fox News. Ratings over at Newsmax, they have doubled and in some cases tripled in the past week. Now, I wouldn't go so far as calling it impressive. I mean, Newsmax went from nothing to competing with CNN. Eric Bolling occupies the same time slot as Tucker Carlson. KC, who in the hell is Eric the Bowler? Why would Newsmax hire some guy that puts his fingers in big balls to talk about politics? Eric Bolling is a former employee of Fox News. Over the last couple of years, he's been wasting his time watching his media career wither away on Newsmax. Last week, before the firing of Tucker Carlson, Eric Bolling averaging 146,000 viewers in prime time. This week, 562,000. He is now competing with Andy Cooper. He's drawing 80% of his audience. I have been covering ratings for a long time. This past week, the first time I have seen Newsmax make the top 150 on cable. Make no mistake about it. This is no bueno for Fox News. This is bad. Now, I'm not saying this to be dramatic, but I don't know if Fox News can recover. This is different. This week, Fox News lost two things that are damn near impossible to get back: trust and credibility. They might not be going woke, does not matter. Yesterday, they announced they were temporarily replacing Tucker Carlson with Lawrence Jones. Look, I like Lawrence Jones. Dude has a bright media career ahead of him. But again, I go back to perception. This is nothing against Lawrence Jones, but just think about this. How could Fox News tapping him to replace Tucker Carlson, how could that be perceived? some people might perceive it as a diversity hire. Even though Lawrence Jones is more than qualified, he draws pretty good ratings on Fox during the weekend, but with Fox being accused of going woke, the perception is all that matters. I'm not saying that's how it will be perceived, I'm just saying it's possible. Now, on the flip side of that coin, if Lawrence Jones fails to recapture Tucker's audience, which is likely to happen, guess what the accusation could be from the other side, from the wanker spankers? They set up a black man for failure. I mean, we've heard that same accusation before, especially in the NFL with head coaches. This is bad for Fox News. When drinking my coffee this morning, I tried to think of another time when their core audience completely abandoned them. I couldn't think of one. It's possible they eventually return. People will eventually calm down. The emotions will subside. Maybe viewers will give Fox News another chance. Problem is, there are so many more options available. 10 years ago, normal people they relied on Fox News. That's no longer the case. Today, Fox News, they need normal people. All right, before I get out of here, I wanted to take a second to address some, I guess you could call them concerns. Yesterday, when talking about Dylan Mulvaney, I said she a couple of times. I had several of you guys reach out to me and asking me why, so I'm going to take a second to explain it. This situation is completely different with someone like Leah Thomas. Leah Thomas chooses to identify as a woman, but when competing last year in the NCAA championships, Leah Thomas still had the benefit of the propeller. Even with Leah Thomas, I catch myself sometimes saying she. Most of the time, it's unintentional. I mean, Leah is a girl's name. I don't do it on purpose. I guess it's a subconscious thing. But I can get away with things with Leah Thomas because what I'm saying about Leah Thomas is factual. Dylan Mulvaney has spent the past year documenting this transition from male to female. Now, I don't know if Dylan Mulvaney is fully transitioned. According to their own TikTok videos, Dylan is still growing facial hair. Maybe the transition's not complete. Maybe it's all for show and publicity. I don't know. Here's what I do know. Last week, Matt Walsh of the Daily Wire, he had his channel demonetized for consistently calling Dylan Mulvaney a man. From what I understand, he was given several warnings. He refused to comply. YouTube demonetized his channel. I'm sure a lot of you guys respect Matt Walsh for taking a stand for fighting this battle. I do too. But let me tell you the difference between me and Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh, he can be demonetized here on YouTube. He is still making tons of money. He has the backing of Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire. He received a shitload of publicity last week when YouTube demonetized him. Matt Walsh, he can use demonetization here on YouTube to further propel his career. His show was the number one show on Spotify for the first time this week. Now, I'm not saying losing monetization was easy on him, but it becomes a hell of a lot easier when you're financially backed. This is just me. I am here all by myself. There is no major media backing here. I don't have Ben Shapiro on speed dial. Just look at this for a second from my perspective. YouTube accounts for 60% of my income. Just like a lot of you guys, I have other people relying on my income. Would you be willing to risk 60% of your income over a damn pronoun? Now, sure. There are other ways I could do it and say it. Most of the time I do. I just didn't yesterday. I could say self-described he or she or whatever the fuck. I mean, to be honest with you, after a while, the pronouns become confusing. I have spent 3.5 years building this channel. I have put my life into this channel. Would you be willing to risk everything you worked for over pronouns? Is that really the hill you want to die on? Many people in conservative media, they will refer to Caitlyn Jenner using she, her pronouns, but it's weird. I hardly ever hear any complaints about it. Maybe it's because Caitlyn Jenner actively fights against transgender involvement in sports. Maybe it's because Caitlyn Jenner appears on Fox News, other conservative media outlets. I don't know the reason. But guys, sometimes you just got to pick your battles. How would I be able to call out the Leah Thomases, the Dylan Mulvaneys? How would I be able to call out dudes infiltrating women's sports if I don't have the platform to do so? Matt Walsh had a 10-year head start on me. He has been doing this for a long time. He built a sustainable platform over the last 10 years. I'm not there yet. I'm going to get there, but I'm not there yet. I have got to be mindful of everything until I get there. Now, I'm about to start uploading all my content on Twitter. I might do a version for YouTube and maybe a more uncensored version on Twitter. I'm not sure yet. I'm working to diversify on different platforms, so I'm not so reliant on this one. That's also why it is important to support the sponsors. The income I get from the sponsors helps to offset the reliance on YouTube. Now, that being said, YouTube has been really good to me over the last 3.5 years. Now, I'm under no false illusions that all that could change tomorrow, but what I'm saying is, so far, YouTube has been good to me. But KC, what about Rumble? Yeah, what about Rumble? I'm on Rumble. They don't have the same user base. They don't have the same reach. I'm hoping Twitter will change the game. Elon Musk just recently launched the long-form video platform on Twitter. We'll see how it goes over there. I'll keep you guys posted on all those changes. But in the meantime, like, comment, share the videos like you guys always do. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. I might be back later today. I have a backlog of topics that I need to knock out. If so, I will see you guys later this afternoon. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow.